Good morning, Zio here, and today we're talking about Blizzard's response and Jay Allen's response to investors and such, because this is gonna be fun. Let's get into it, shall we? Blizzard, you had one job and you couldn't do it. Come on now. Anyway, so Blizzard of course has responded, and I'm sure everybody's heard about it because I meant to do this Wednesday or Thursday, and due to other things, here it is Saturday, and nobody's probably ever going to see it now. So now apparently they have gone ahead and responded with the standard, hey, look, we're listening, however, we're not really listening, so just wanted to say we're sorry. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it right there. But first off, we want to say we're sorry for those of you who didn't have the experience you wanted. So, you know that experience that you were promised? There's a nice site here that's showing everybody exactly what it is, because, you know, we've got here on the left is what we were promised, here on the right is what we got. You know, it's not as detailed as say over here on the left. You can tell, you know, there's a lot, it's a lot better on the left, because that is what we were promised, right? People are upset that not what they've got. Instead, they got the thing on the right. Because, you know, usually when you're promised something, you expect it. And I guess Blizzard doesn't understand that at all recently for some reason. It's just like, look, we're sorry you didn't get what you were expected. Yeah, we were expecting you to do exactly what it is you said you were going to do. Anyway. But, or I'm sorry, you didn't have the experience you wanted. Among other things, of course. You know, there's other things missing from the game that apparently is in existence in the original. The original, of course, doesn't exist anymore because it now uses the Reforged setup and everything, so you can't actually use the original unless, I guess, you got the original discs and you don't connect to the net, or you pirate it or something like that, and don't touch Reforged. But they also, of course, are pretty blank, or, you know, pretty straightforward with this. There are some individual concerns we've seen that we are not currently planning to address, and we wanted to give the community a heads up. Cool. Okay, so Blizzard straight up actually says it now. They're not gonna beat around the bush. There are some other things, because there was a few things that they did not talk about in this post, you know, and probably for good reason, because they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, so there you go. That happened. Although I think it is pretty funny that this site, of course, cropped up just like the last time for Fallout 76. We have Warcraft 3 Refunded, a broken, dishonest, anti-consumer, glorified remaster. Of course, whoever threw this all together, real quick, kudos to you. You're amazing. that this actually happened. But, you know, we've got the Broken Promises section, cut features, campaign overhaul, improved cutscenes, which is what we were just talking about, and the player choice, ability to choose between the old and the new campaign, cinematic and user interface. Yeah, if you don't know what that is about, by the way, apparently they were going to redo the campaign, redo the voice acting, and a bunch of other stuff to make it more in line with what has happened to World of Warcraft, because, you know, with World of Warcraft, certain things have been retconned just to make things work, lore-wise, of course. But, you know, Warcraft 3, of course, you know, it doesn't exactly, there's a word I'm looking for. Anyway, it doesn't exactly, you know, fall into canon anymore, or parts of it don't always fall into canon, certain things. So they were going to redo that. They were going to do an overhaul to the campaign, And people were excited about that. You're going to have the ability to, play the classic campaign as it once was, as well as play, the new campaign. Which, is what was promised, even though they're using this sort of as a, excuse. But the main takeaway is that the campaign tells us one of the classic stories in Warcraft history, and we wanted to preserve the true spirit of Warcraft 3 and allow players to relive the unforgettable moments as they once were, as their excuse. Because apparently they talked about this at BlizzCon, which it was an event that you kind of had to pay to go to see all the things, or pay for an online ticket to see. So a lot of people didn't actually see, because nobody made these posts or made these public or anything. So if you did actually talk about it, guess who didn't see it? I didn't. If I didn't see it, I know a lot more other people didn't see it. So you kind of need to come out and talk about this stuff in other locations where people actually will see it. But yeah. Anyway, that's what this was supposed to take care of. The player's choice, the ability to swap between the old and the new campaigns. This way you could go back and what is the word we're using? We wanted to preserve the true spirit of Warcraft 3. See, if you had the choice between the new and the old campaign, they were still preserving the spirit of Warcraft 3. Ta-da! Anyway, but yeah. Then, of course, you've got the anti-consumer practices, where there was no refunds, but they did, by the way, start doing refunds. So there's at least one small step in the one small step forward. Reforge only, of course, this is where apparently the launcher replaces what the Reforge launcher and everything is done through there now, instead of anything classic wise. Of course, here's the the difference in the visuals, of course, what was promised versus what we actually got. And then, of course, the custom map ownership thing, which is definitely a big thing. And people have made Blizzard some amazing games, apparently. I just don't have them pulled up, so I can't think of what they are. That I think Blizzard, of course, would be very, very happy to have. No, seriously, if you've got the game, go look it up. If they're still up, because I'm sure Blizzard has been working very hard to take them all down. There are some very interesting map types and games that Blizzard now is the owner of. You should go check those out. But, they did eventually stop denying the refunds. There are, in some countries, apparently it's illegal for them to deny the refunds, and their automated system is now automatically giving out refunds. So if you didn't like what you got, you can go ahead and get it. And I know some people did. Some people do enjoy the remastering, or I'm not even sure what to call it, because you've got these different terms like HD remake and remaster and stuff like that, and they all supposed to be slightly different, but they're all now, it feels like they're all being the exact same thing. Anyway, we may have to get into that at some point, but and as for what it is just an HD remake, missing several features and things that it originally had. Of course, it didn't add anything to the game either, other than some updated graphics, because looking at this is better than the original, and there are some portions of the game that honestly don't look as good as the original. I think the original looks a bit better due to more clutter and other things, other than the character models not being as good. I think the original kind of looks a bit better in some places as well. But then we get into this. Well, not this exactly. This is Blizzard's apology. Apology at BlizzCon 2019 when things were said. So you know what? Let's play that for a second, shall we?
Esports moment about a tough to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment.
Whoops. There we go. Now that is a tough esports moment right there. Tough esports moment. Apparently I was not prepared to play any of this because I didn't have things on or anything because I forgot I was doing it. I am sorry. This is low quality, of course. We're talking about me here. I don't have a whole lot of time on my hands. I don't got time to do all this nifty editing and stuff. But yeah, we were talking about a hard esports moment. What exactly are we talking about right there? Talking about the Blitzchung incident where he said, you know, freedom for Hong Kong, revolution of our time, and immediately hit the ban hammer on him. I mean, they hit him so hard that everyone around the world felt it. When you ban somebody that hard and that fast and the entire world feels it, you know you done fudged up at that point. But yeah, why is that relevant? This. Concerning Warcraft 3, this was talking to Q4 investors, by the way. Or investors at the Q4 meeting, or something like that, for Blizzard. Anyway, with Activision and all that good jazz. But concerning Warcraft 3 Reforged, honestly, it's been a bit it's been a bit of a hard week. Hard week is probably not the best way to put it, but then again, we're talking about the guy who was talking about a tough esports moment without actually talking about it or apologizing or anything else like that. And, you know, keeping the ban still there. Still, the ban is still there, right? Anyway, our community has come to expect really amazing things from us. Yeah, usually from you saying we're going to do something and then you doing it, not downgrading it without telling anybody. And we've heard from them that we did not achieve that bar. No kidding. You didn't achieve that bar. See, people expect something certain, you know, a specific thing from Blizzard. We expect the Blizzard polish. We expect things to get done when they get done. You know, when Blizzard says coming soon, we expect to see that product 6 years from now when they announce it, because Blizzard soon is Blizzard soon. You know, we expect a finished product, a nice product, a product that is as good as it's going to get. And honestly, ever since Activision came into the fold, not what we've gotten. You know, and people are rightfully upset about that. Blizzard talks and, you know, says one thing and then does another. Anyway, but we stand behind our games and have constantly shown that not only do we support them, but we continue to build on them even after launch. Why does that sound... Oh, Bethesda. Anyway, and we're committed to doing that here as well. We're going to continue to update the game. We're going to continue to update the community with our plans going forward. Yeah, so they're going to continue to communicate with us, but they're not going to tell us when they do things like this, of course. What was it? Oh yeah, there was an apology where they said something very similar to this right here, and they were going to communicate with everybody, and they hear you, and they're very sorry. Still couldn't do it here. You've got the words echoing what I feel like is Bethesda right now. This idea that it's not where a game starts, but it's where it's finished. BS. Because it's absolutely where a game starts, because if your game starts on fire, nobody's going to be there later when it finally works. You know, you're going to have to work hard to get those people back. And I think the greatest example of that is probably going to be Final Fantasy XIV. Apparently, its first iteration was bad. I heard that it was really bad, of course, back in the day when it launched and all this other stuff. And I thought about checking it out because I had checked out many other MMOs at that time. And I chose not to because of that. It wasn't until I finally dropped World of Warcraft, what was it? Not last year, but the year prior, that December, in 2018, that I finally went out looking for another MMO, and I was recommended FF14 because it's not how it was back when it launched. They took like a couple of years off or something, they revamped it, they redid it, and I was pleasantly surprised. And as a result, because of that word of mouth and other things, it is building its traction again. However, it's been hard to do that. I think that game has suffered as a result because of how it launched. It may be getting to a much better spot now, but it legitimately was suffering for years because of how it launched. So it's a bit of both. It's how it launches and how it gets there. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. So let me know what you think about all of this stuff down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.